I was lucky enough, and I mean that sincerely, lucky enough to get involved with Harley-Davidson at its absolute worst point in history. When a business learns how to understand real simple drivers of human behavior and leverage those drivers for competitive advantage, it works because nobody else does it. Everybody else is too busy trying to sell stuff.
Welcome to Start With a Win, where we unpack leadership, personal growth and development, and how to build a better business. Let's go. Coming to you from Area 15 Ventures and Start With a Win headquarters, it's Adam Contos with Start With a Win. Today, we're talking to the man who made it happen, Ken Schmidt. As the former head of communications at Harley-Davidson, Ken played a pivotal role in transforming the brand from near bankruptcy to worldwide dominance by focusing on connection and loyalty rather than just products. He's a sought-after speaker, best-selling author of Make Some Noise, and a leadership expert with a passion for standing out and having fun. Get ready for some unforgettable insights from one of the most unconventional minds in business. Ken, welcome to Start With a Win.
Adam, thanks for having me, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, this will be a good time. I mean, we have a close association with Harley-Davidson and your history. Our partnership here at Area 15 Ventures. We've got some Harley dealers, but I mean, the reality is this is a business conversation about where people get stuck, how to get unstuck. I love some of the principles that you are deploying. So I really want to get going on this, but take us back to, all right, Harley-Davidson, struggling brand. And Ken is there. What was going on, and where did you take them that leads you to kind of the business consulting and the help you're providing people now?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough, and I mean that sincerely, lucky enough to get involved with Harley-Davidson at its absolute worst point in history. And people say, well, what would be fun or lucky about that? And my thought at the time, and this never changed, was I can be part of something that is dramatic and super cool and take something that's doing very, very poorly and help, be part of the resurgence, turn it around and make it awesome. Or at worst, I can get an up front row view of watching a iconic business fail. And there's got to be stuff that you can learn and take away from that. So that was my kind of perspective going in. And I was brought in to help the company, change its image. And, I always have to hold up my little finger quotes when I say that, because it just sounds so absurd to say it now. To change the company's image so it could sell more stuff.
Right.
And hopefully get out of the hole that it had dug for itself.
So Harley, when you came in, they had kind of their quality reputation wasn't exactly all there, and a specific customer base. Tell us about what you saw as some of the key points that needed to be right-sized.
Yeah, well, 2 points to what you just said. The outside world, the non-motorcycle world, or what I like to refer to as everybody's mother. Everybody's mother hated us. And
right.
What the company and what they believed it represented, which was a kind of a Hollywood-fueled stereotype of, guys swinging chains and getting into gang fights and kidnapping teenage girls and all that kind of ridiculous stuff, which unfortunately the company did nothing to dispel. So you had this black cloud of stereotype and dislike, and then inside the industry with people who do know better, actual motorcycle people, weren't pleased with the product that Harley was putting out at the time. The Knox being it's antiquated. There's no innovation. There's no technology. That the stuff's going to fall apart in the wake of really great stuff coming from Japan and Germany. Right. So the company wasn't bleeding red ink by this point. It was hemorrhaging. It was about as close to DOA as you could get. And what everybody likes to think, and I'm sure you've heard this, Adam, with other people on the show, is the knee-jerk reaction was, man, if we can just improve our products, bring the Q word quality back into the forefront and be more efficient while doing it, well, hearts, minds, and dollars will flow right back. And all of the improvement stuff happened and all the efficiencies happened, but the customers coming back in droves part did not happen. And there's a huge takeaway from that I think most people in the business world that haven't been exposed to it sooner or later will be. And that is, hey, if all you're known for is what you do, making a product, selling a product, you're essentially rendering yourself uncompetitive if you're in a market where there are other people who do that thing too. And, name an industry where that's not happening, but everything's commoditized. Everybody's good at what they do now. And if all you're known for what you do, it's really, really hard to gain competitive advantage.
That's a key point. So, it takes me to my, the obvious question is, what should you be known for then?
See, and the beauty of that, and thanks for asking, Adam, is let me try to condense this a little bit, is what we learned how to do, and this is by accident, man. This is the kind of stuff that you learn in the trenches when you are struggling to survive. What we learned is that it is infinitely better to be known for who you are than for what you do. Because what we as human beings do is we humanize everything. If I can attach a human face and human qualities to a business, and these associations are positive, that means I like you. I like this collection of people, even if I'm just imagining what that collection of people might look like. If you've got human qualities attached, people tend to remember you and prefer that. And now you are 2 steps ahead of the businesses that are simply known for what they do and, have to compete with features and benefits and price and, other things that, people tend to not understand really, really well. And what we learned to do, and what I have been screaming from the mountaintops for the last 30 years, is that when a business learns how to understand real simple drivers of human behavior and leverage those drivers for competitive advantage, it works because nobody else does it. Everybody else is too busy trying to sell stuff.
Right.
We learned to trip human triggers, emotional triggers, and fill basic human needs that nobody else was doing or even thinking about.
That's pretty powerful, because you're not going from buying a motorcycle, you're going to becoming part of something.
Right. And that, again, was not something that we knew at the time. It was, we were just focused on selling what we made, like most businesses do, and not even thinking about the human equation that's involved here. And look, you can get oddly scientific and go back to your junior high years when you learned about the what was called the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Remember, there was a triangle that they put up in your social studies class or whatever class it was, and talk about every human being needs the same things as every other human being that's ever existed: food, water, and shelter, the things at the bottom of the triangle or the pyramid. But the stuff at the top was the way harder to attain stuff. That's your emotional needs. Your need for validation, to feel good about yourself, to feel part of something, to feel recognized and important. And what we discovered was, man, if we're intentionally and very, very visibly working to help people get that validation, stand out, be recognized, be part of something, be proud of themselves, they're going to come back for more of that. And we did, and they did.
It's fascinating, and a business lesson for everybody here, watching, and I can't imagine what the conversations around the table inside Harley-Davidson looked like.
Oh, they were they were unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. You've got a bunch of guys sitting around, maybe women, I don't know, but everybody's wearing a black t-shirt that says Harley-Davidson on it. And people are talking about, hey, we've got these, legitimate, badasses and outlaws and tough people and stuff like that, riding your bikes and living the Harley-Davidson lifestyle as it was known then. And then you have this, somebody said, hey, let's sell to attorneys and accountants, something like that. It probably wasn't that quick of a conversation,
but we never viewed any segment within the market. We never said, let's target women, for example, and everyone, oh, you do
Right.
such a great job marketing. No, the focus was everybody. If you are enthusiastic, if you're drawn to, great experiences and a great lifestyle, a lot of fun, and motorcycling, being the core of that, we're here for you. We're going to be exclusive, but inclusive. But your comment about the conversations is really valid for a lot of reasons. This was at that time, very much a Rust Belt business, Milwaukee,
Right.
Wisconsin business, a lot of second and third generation employees, people working out in the factories that were, extraordinarily proud of what they did. This is what we did. So, even then by the 80s, the company was already over 80 years old. So there was a lot of lore and, cool factor to it. And their belief was, this company is famous and beloved, and people have tattooed our names onto their bodies for decades because of what we do here. And that's making these really cool bikes. And God bless them. And that's all very, very true. But you have to take a step back and say, hey, our market share dropped from over 95% to less than 20%. Not only are we not profitable right now, we are in tremendous danger of having to shutter the building. Nobody will loan us money. I mean, it's dead to the outside world. We have no choice but to start doing things differently. And of course, everybody thought, we'll solve it with product. We'll solve it with marketing, the traditional kind of business 101 stuff. But we made some really, what I call glorious discoveries through happy accidents. And I think the biggest one, that kind of started the whole sea change in attitude and mindset started when, totally out of desperation, we started allowing people to take test rides on motorcycles. And that was a flat out no-no in the industry because of liability.
Right.
Look, something can happen and the whole house of cards tumbles down. Well, trust me, when you're broke, your attitude about liability changes. So there was this, the thought being, if people could just get on these things and ride it and see for themselves all the changes that we've made, they'll come back and buy. So the company stopped doing any formal marketing and dumped what meager marketing dollars it had into leasing trucks, semis, and loading them up with bikes and taking them out and letting people take them for 15-mile rides.
Wow.
And a couple of things that we discovered was, as soon as somebody'd get off the bike, for the next person to get on, that person would want to say something, give us feedback, which was great. But the problem was, if you were standing there getting a litany of suggestions or comments from the person who just got off the bike, that's slowing down the other people that are standing in line that want to take a ride on the bike. So totally, and again, happy accident. We said, we want to get feedback from people. We just can't have it taking 20 minutes at the expense of other people who want to take the bike out. Let's just ask everyone a real simple question that they can answer quickly. And that question was, what do we need to change on this motorcycle to make you want it? And that, trust me, this is not about product in the end here. What the discovery was for us was, 100% of people that we ask a question to that are standing right in front of us answer the question. They don't answer surveys. They don't give feedback. They're not sending in random letters and notices. We've got a fantastic opportunity here to get in front of people, ask them what they would like to see us do as a business. And my God, let them see that we're listening to what they're saying, because that makes the person that you're asking that question to feel important. If they see you're like writing down what they're saying, they're thinking, oh, that must be I must have had a good idea. I like that. Nobody else asked me. My car company's not asking me for input. The hotel I stayed in last night didn't ask me for any input. So they're seeing an effort being made on their behalf to engage them in a process, make them feel that they're part of a process. And as we're back in Milwaukee, kind of, sitting around the table, how can we capitalize on this, because something really rich and deep and human happens when we're getting that feedback from people, or we're talking with them, hanging around after when the rides are done and there's, 100 people standing around the truck and they're just having these great conversations and offering suggestions. I'd like to see you do this, or I'd like to see you get more into racing, or back into racing, or do a better job of supporting warranties, or make handlebars that are higher or lower. All the stuff that's eventually getting acted upon. That's damn good ideas. They have way more, thousands of riders have more ideas than, hundreds of employees.
Right. I mean, it seems like you guys built the most personalizable platform on the planet. I mean, it's, you look at somebody and they buy a Harley and then they walk over to the parts department and they buy,
Great.
another several $1,000s worth of accessories and customizations and clothing and things like that. I mean, it seems like people, when you started listening, everybody started, buying more, first of all, but it allowed them to put themselves in the Harley-Davidson story instead of just watching it.
We had determined that, look, we need to change the vernacular and the positioning of the business so that we're not thought of as what we do, motorcycle manufacturer.
Right.
Way too obvious. Great products, way too obvious. What do we want people to remember? So we created, essentially what was then a 5-word pillar that we wanted to build the business around. And the word at the top is lifestyle. We want to be seen as a lifestyle business.
Okay.
We want to promote the idea of freedom, no matter how you define that. Personal freedom, getting out with your friends, going where you want to go. Camaraderie, that's being part of something, getting together with other people, having a network of friends. The opposite end of camaraderie is individuality. How do you express yourself? How do you stand out? We can help you do that. And at the bottom was rebellion, which is not, let's rebel against the man. Let's rebel against the industry. Let's stop doing what everybody else does and do it our way. And to your point, the individuality is what drives all of the bike customization that you see somebody buying a perfectly awesome motorcycle and then immediately removing half the parts and replacing them with others that cost more, look different, but allow that rider to express their individuality, to stand out, because again, that's a basic human need. We want that. When somebody looks at you when you're on your bike and they're staring at you, dopamine is squirting in your brain. Someone's paying attention to me. I like that. Bingo. We're winning.
Awesome. And speaking as somebody who in the mid 90s spent 2 years working at a custom motorcycle shop on the side, riding my custom Harley that looked nothing like when I bought it off the showroom floor after I was done with it. That was really an appealing aspect to my life. And I was proud of it. I mean, it gave me, it was, one of those alter ego moments. It was a lot of fun. The camaraderie was amazing. I was in a motorcycle club, things like that. It kept perpetuating on itself. And I lost track of the fact that I was, a Harley-Davidson loyalist, and I just became a lifestyle loyalist at that point.
It's amazing how that happens, and so much of that is driven by other people. Like you're surrounded by, like-minded people, and you're having fun and you're enjoying it, and you're having like conversations, not just about motorcycles, but about your life and your family, things that ordinarily wouldn't be happening because you didn't have that conduit to bring people together. And a really interesting point that, based on what you said a minute ago, that it sounds almost too good to be true.
Right.
But when somebody, you, sitting at a red light or at a stop sign on our Harley, and we rev our engine as we've done forever, very loud. And the reason that we're doing this is ultimately what is going to trip triggers inside our brains in the company that's going to help us change the mindset of the business. When somebody's revving the engine, what they're doing is saying, look at me. Over here, look at me. And when somebody looks, and somebody always does, dopamine squirts in our brain. Just a little bit. I'm being validated. I'm being looked at. I'm being noticed. I like this. go up to the next stop sign and do it again. And what this is it's the proof, it's the science of loyalty. And what loyalty is that what loyalty dictates is that people, that's us, will seek out and return to anything in our life that delights us, that makes us feel good, until it fails to do that. We seek out and return to that which delights us. That's loyalty. So we ask ourselves at the business, and that's us back in Milwaukee sitting at the table, like, what are we here to do? And it's to provide great motorcycles and, great service. And that's what we have to do. But what's the umbrella above that? And what the umbrella above that has to be is we need to be a source of delight for human beings. Because if we do that, do it well, they will keep coming back. And then they'll bring their friends with them. And this whole thing starts to take off, driven by this shift in mindset. And other business people, and you would ask this question if I didn't jump into this. Say, well, yeah, but my business doesn't sell cool stuff like motorcycles. And believe me, I hear this every single day, everywhere. We sell insurance, and we sell something invisible, and we sell ball bearings. And I say, at no point do I ever talk about what's being sold. It's people, and people either like you based on what you're doing for them, or they don't, or worse, they have no opinion whatsoever.
Right.
No matter what's being sold, is if I like you, if I like the people that I see in my mind when I think about your business, that means I prefer you. And if I prefer you, I'm going to seek you out and choose you over all the other, competitors in the market that essentially are doing the exact same thing.
That's very profound. And you've really capitalized on what Harley did, as well as adding to the, let's call it the culture, attitude, values, whatever, of these different businesses. And you've coined this term, make some noise.
Yeah.
Tell us, I can clearly see, having sat there and done this on my Harley, at the red light, the stop sign, usually under an overpass someplace, under the highway where the noise reverberates, you give it a little extra on the throttle. Yeah. I mean, it really makes you feel present in the moment with that machine that you're sitting on, and the people around you going, whoa, that guy, I wonder, is he a badass, or is he an accountant, or what is he? Something like that. But ultimately, the make the noise concept is really, really powerful in business. But you did mention, maybe it's not a very noisy business. How do we drop that into the insurance, or a real estate agent, or, other entrepreneurial endeavors, to display how proud we are?
Sure. Well, let's first, from my perspective, let's define what noise means. And what I mean by noise is what people say about you when you're not there. I mean, noise is the reputation of your business and the effort that you're making to generate that noise. And your noise in the marketplace is, memorable and distinct and instantly identifiable, like that Harley noise. Or to stay in the motorcycle vein, it's that it's that noise that everybody hears, but you can't identify what it is. That's a motorcycle, but I don't know who made it. It came from Japan or whatever. And what businesses tend to do, I think more by accident or acquiescence than design, is say and do the exact same things that all their competitors say and do.
Right.
And you look at if you're getting in the market to buy something, and you Google it and you look at different companies' websites, you're looking for a plumber, you're looking to buy new carpeting, whatever that is, and you look at 5, 6, 10 websites, you start to see, hey, you know what? Everybody's saying they're pushing the same buttons. It's quality, it's price, it's, a proud member of the community, whatever those things are. And when everybody is saying the same thing, and find an industry where that's not happening, nobody listens anymore. We reach the conclusion that everyone's the same. Therefore, I might as well just pick whatever's cheapest or most convenient. So what I say is, look, if you're going to make noise, you have to make this a concerted effort. You have to determine as a business, or as a leader within the business, what do we want to be known for? When someone's talking about us, What do we want them to say? And I mean specifically, what do we want them to say? Not, oh, they're realtors. That's a plumbing company. No, that's simply defining what the business does. If you want the business to be known for who you are, it's okay. What human qualities can we attach to this? Like we said with Harley, not a motorcycle, but it's a lifestyle business. Lifestyle implies humans doing things, whatever those are. And you start to see a face or faces, even if you don't know anybody there, you human qualities. And if you can focus on that and focus on as an organization, if our first instinct when we're meeting a prospect or answering the phone is to ask ourselves, what do I want this person to remember and repeat? Remember and tell somebody else about us. So that's as simple as the tonality of the person that's answering the phone, instead of a please hold. If I'm hearing passion in that voice, if I'm hearing somebody who's making an attempt to be interested in me by asking me some questions about myself, that's crack to a human being. That's more. Keep focusing on me. I like this. Nobody else does it. I'm going to remember you for this. And that it's incumbent on the leaders of a business. And I ask this to leaders all the time. I say, if your most important investor, your biggest customer is out talking to somebody who would become the new biggest customer, somebody you've never been able to get a meeting with, someone who would represent the greatest customer, the greatest whale you've ever had, what would you want that person who knows you to say about you? And 100% of the time, Adam, the answer always starts with, well, I guess. And I say, but you guess? I just told you this is the most important conversation that's ever going to happen, that defines and describes your business and who you are. You have to guess at that. If you have to guess at that and you have 1,000 employees, that's 1,000 employees who also have to guess at that. You have 1,000 dealers, that's 1,000 dealers or suppliers that have to guess at it. Man, you got to have concrete, carved in stone definition behind that. What are the words we want people to use? This is going to be our language. This is our vernacular. If we don't do that, it's really, really hard to create that memorability and that differentiation in the marketplace. And that requires no capital to do that. It just requires sitting down and say, what do I want people saying about me? Leaders say, what do I want my employees saying about me? Not that I'm smart or brilliant or, a leader, but, hey, she's cool. She listens. She's awesome. I love her. Well, what do I have to do? What is the language I need to use? What is the behavior I need to exhibit in front of people so that they see that and remember it? So that when they're talking about me, that's how I'm being spoken of.
That's incredible. Ken, you do a lot of work with different businesses, helping to bring this philosophy out from them and help them establish themselves as somebody who's making noise in the marketplace in whatever their space is. Tell us a little bit about your seminars and your consulting you're doing with businesses.
It's always fun because what most people think of when they think of improving their business, and I run into it all the time, especially with either manufacturing type companies or companies that sell stuff that other people make, is the overriding mindset and directive is efficiency. How do we mine all of this data that we're collecting from a zillion different places and scour it to get, make whatever it is we make a tiny bit faster, to suck cost out of it so that we can generate more profit? Everybody does that. And I say, well, see, what the problem with that is, yes, you have to be efficient. Obviously, you have to take advantage of all the tools available to do what you do. But look at the business from the outside in. Nobody cares about that. I don't care what it costs you to make it. I see what you're charging to sell it to me. Bing. The rest of that is invisible to me. That's not how you're being judged. So I say, look, we have to look at the business, any business from the outside in, and what people remember or don't remember every time that they are in contact with you in any way. They see a product somewhere. What's the picture that forms in their mind? They see you online. They talk to you somewhere. And 99 times out of 100, people say, "Oh, we want people to think about the quality of our products and the fact that our people make the difference, and we're committed to customer satisfaction." So all that's great, but everybody stands for that. Everybody says that. You set the trap, and then you walked right into it. I am spewing to you what you expect to hear and what everybody in my industry says, but I want you to somehow see us as being different and more desirable. And you say, I can't. Right, because you did nothing, you said nothing different than anybody else. You behaved the way I expected you to. And if you're a leader in a business, you always have to remember that employees, human beings model behavior of their elders, of the people above them, and they have since our species evolved. So if they see the leaders of the business or their boss even being super predictable, using that kind of dull, lifeless, expected business language, or seeing no representation of leadership other than charts and graphs on walls with, quotas and things that scare people, they say, well, I guess that's what we're about here. And the leadership wonders why they can't keep employees. Because they don't feel like they're part of something. They're always being judged by their productivity or their output instead of who they are. So you can put a human face and attach human qualities to a business. That's job number one of leaders. And they always, well, how can I do that? And what should I do? What could I immediately start doing differently? And I whether it's a 5-person business or a 500,000 person business, I always start with the 3 to 5 words. Give me 3 to 5. Give me 3 to 5 words that you want to be known for. You as a person, you as a leader. And then we say, all right, now, once they do that, awesome and kind and whatever. So first of all, now we're going to do it again. But you can't give me a single word that you'd use to describe any of your competitors or any of the other people here. What it means, you have to get out of the habit of being predictable and giving the knee jerk. Is give me something else. Give me something I'm going to remember that they can't own. Give me like a freedom word or an awesome. I'm the best looking. When people say that, they'll say that and they laugh and go with that. Go with that. Keep going. It's like now you're attaching like some human quality to yourself. Like come up with a word for that. Even if it's funny, just being silly, it's a good exercise to get you out of thinking about, good leadership skills. Focus on being human, because we can't make the organization more human. We can't get them to follow your lead in terms of being more creative and lifelike and people focused if you're not doing it. You sort of have to learn some easy steps to get past that predictability of saying what people expect to hear hump.
I love that. Ken Schmidt, you're putting the life into businesses instead of this commoditized mindset that so many people walk around with. If you're looking to find Ken, go to kenspeaks.com. Also, you can check out his Torque Sessions, torquesessions.com, where Ken really gets into the workshopping of how to truly bring out the spirit of your business in order to rejuvenate it in the marketplace like he did with Harley-Davidson. Ken, this is been an incredible conversation. I've learned a lot, and it's really made me take a look at, the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs when it comes to how our business connects with the customers. It's just so super important.
And in businesses that think about it, Adam, and you're thinking about it right now, if that's bouncing around in your brain, then the next time somebody calls you on the phone, you're not just thinking, how quickly can I answer this person's questions and send them on their way? It's what can I say to this person that's going to make them feel good about themselves? So they'll come back for more of this, that they'll like me, that I just made an effort to be human, especially if you're talking to them for the first or second time. Ooh, everybody notices and come back for more.
I love that. And we want our customers to come back for more. That's for sure.
Amen. Loyalty's dead. No, it's not. It absolutely is not.
That's right. And it's not often you have a tattoo worthy brand that you can point to in order to accomplish these things. So, Ken, this has been incredible. I have a question, and I ask all the great leaders on Start With a Win. And that's, how do you start your day with a win?
I start it sounds a bit goofy, but I do the New York Times crossword puzzle every day, every morning over coffee. It's going to kick my brain into gear. I'm going to ignore my email for a while. That's my time. It's also brain time, and I get odd feelings of accomplishment every time I finish it in ink. And literally, I get out of bed in the morning. I can't wait to get at it. Like, good.
That's awesome. I mean, there's nothing like getting the brain going, and frankly, a nice shot of caffeine with a good cup of coffee.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh yeah. Ken, thanks for all you do. Thanks for what you've done for Harley-Davidson as a Harley-Davidson fan lover here, and also somebody closely tied to your brand through dealerships. Yeah. So you can find Ken at kenspeaks.com. Make sure you check him out. He's got a lot of great information out there, great ways to help your business. Ken, you're a great man for all you're doing to help us lead our businesses better. And thanks for starting with a win.
Well, thanks for having me, Adam.